very cold-blooded. Which, in this sense, literally means I'm cold all the time. And I'm a little upset. I forgot my jacket. But it's okay. I should be alright.
Comparing our signatures.
I am. Well, we have the same name.
Nobody can ever read mine.
I know. Mine's just a bunch of squiggly lines anyway.
I'm like, well, this goes C makes a big loop, and then I connect the D.
There's so many circles.
It just goes. All right.
I put this for later. Brian takes weeks to sign these things anyway.
Here, I got it.
Oh.
You want to scoot into the table?
You overachiever.
Sweet. I adore this table.
That's pretty good.
See what I did there?
We're starting off on a high note.
I was gonna be like, wow, that was such a great compliment. And it was like, oh no, he's been waiting all day to do that.
Oh no, I have not. I just all of a sudden it was like.
Are you serious?
Dude,
Took me a second.
Dad jokes are my thing.
Man,
I think we got our name for the episode, the bad joke episode.
the dad joke. Bad joke or dad joke?
Dad jokes.
Ooh.
Make lots of dad jokes.
Let's just lower you a bit.
Bad joke.
Yeah, Caleb, do you want a water? We usually ask.
Yes, I would love to have a
Oh,
water.
we're doing it.
Okay.
I'm on it.
I figure we should start asking because some people will just give them a water and then they take 2 sips and they never drink the rest of the bottle.
Yeah, you don't want to waste water.
Yeah, we're trying to save money.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say Earth.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Earth, definitely.
money,
I guess that doesn't matter
money,
much.
earth, same thing.
Oh, mine.
Those have been sanitized and cleaned. You're getting no ear funguses from any other guest.
I don't know if I can. I can't really hear myself.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a hit or
I have this
miss.
over here for a reason, okay?
Do you?
Did you
Yeah.
have
It's out of the way.
Yeah, but you got to get in your level.
Did
Yeah, I'm in my level.
Fuck, you are. Right on.
Did you plug?
I'm in the red now.
You plugged the
It'll
headphones
be
in?
fine. Yeah.
The amplifier in?
Oh, wait, I think Caleb isn't plugged in. But yeah, the amplifier's plugged in. That explain why you hear nothing. Your headphones are not plugged in.
What?
What the fuck are you looking for?
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like,
It's right over there. What? It's right here.
Oh. All right, calm down, man.
Yeah, I was wondering. I can't hear anything out of these, so that would probably
It's because it's
make
not
more
plugged
sense.
into anything. Brian's got to plug you in.
No, it just makes me feel good.
No, he's plugged in.
He's not plugged in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We got everything.
that makes the most sense now.
Yeah. I mean, you have a further
Hey, look,
distance.
There you are. Welcome to the podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by Homegrown
Actually-
Brewhouse.
Let's bring that up. Do you think that Brian and I have a radio talking voice when we do the podcast?
Brian more so than you.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Ron Daniels said that we sounded like newscasters. And he was like, oh, why are they talking so weird? I'm like, I didn't think I actually changed that much.
What's the difference between a newscaster and a podcaster? Is there a difference?
I don't know. I feel like my voice sounds totally different to me whenever I actually hear it.
Oh, I hate my
recorded.
voice.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I was like, it's not me. I do not sound like that. But then I do. And so I'll change my voice. This is more, I'm going to talk like this the entire time.
I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
God damn it, Brian.
Just calm down for a second.
Homegrown Brewhouse.
Yeah, do an ad or something.
Summerville's beer destination.
Do you want to be putting a plug for a business you're trying to sell?
Yeah, exactly. You know you want it.
I do, really badly.
Yeah, well, do it.
I mean, we gotta find common ground on finances here. Oh man. Are you looking at all of our decor?
Yeah.
It's so fancy, right?
Super fancy.
What?
Oh, there's the carpet. I was like, I completely missed the carpet wall. I was like, where's this carpet wall we talked about?
Yeah, I've missed the last 2 people. I was supposed to take pictures of them in there, and I have not yet.
It's a
What do you-
thing.
Forgot my watch, man. I always have a watch on when I'm in here.
He needs to have his watch.
I just realized you're wearing a Budweiser shirt.
Yeah.
Well,
InBev.
he's been InBeving it out lately.
InBev.
What the last episode you guys drank 2 InBev products. So
Wicked Weed. What was the other one?
We had Lieutenant Dank and we had
Stardust.
Space Dust.
Yeah.
Elysian? I didn't know.
Elysian. Elysian's InBev as well?
Elysian, yeah.
Really?
So,
Yes, that's why you can find it everywhere.
is D9
No.
going to InBev? They just have some giant expansion thing, don't they?
The Devil's Backbone sold to InBev last year.
Oh.
That's out of North Carolina as well?
Yeah. Breckenridge.
Yeah.
Tim Barrel. Goose Island.
See, now you're too quiet.
Not anymore.
So why?
I'm going to hate editing your audio.
Why do you think all these people are going to InBev? I mean, good thing, bad thing?
That's good for them.
But why is it bad for anybody else?
Well, it's horrible for everybody else because the more product that InBev buys, the more shelf space they get, which completely pushes out the real craft brands.
Right. I can see that point.
I mean, you walk into
solid.
Publix and look at it, and it's like 95% of the stuff there is not really craft beer.
Right.
And that's part of the end goal. It's not the whole end goal, but
Right, but that's not InBev's fault. I mean, that's the grocery store's fault.
oh no, it is InBev's fault because we can blame grocery stores, but grocery stores are not going to spend the time and energy on understanding the product that they're selling. They actually rely on the reps to sell it. So you have 2 major distributors that you deal with: the people who deal with Miller, the people who deal with Bud. And so those reps come in there, and then they place all of their Budweiser products, Stella Artois, all of the faux craft brands out there, and they're all owned by one company. And then, then you get a couple of the other guys in there too.
Right.
And so you can't expect the grocery stores is out. I mean, people are out to make money, period. But it hurts the consumer because the consumer doesn't necessarily understand what they're buying. And we can sit around all day long and we can talk about, oh, it still tastes good, but it does. First off, it doesn't always taste as good.
Right. I agree with that.
The product's not as well made as it was. They're mass producing anything that you find pretty much in a can is being mass produced. Is the sour products and the imperial stouts? Yeah, the barrel aged stuff. Yeah, they're still being made on premise at Wicked Weed and Goose Island, but you can find things that are just as good, if not better, by a craft brewery. And
solid point.
And so, supporting InBev, in my opinion, it doesn't help the industry because eventually, the more brands they buy out and the more shelf space they have, and the less craft brewers you have represented, eventually it's going to just all become about profits again, and it's going to have nothing to do with actually making a good product, and you're going to end up with crappy stuff on the shelves.
Right.
So we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We're helping to end craft beer. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but we're helping to end the craft beer revolution because we're lying to ourselves and telling ourselves that, oh, it tastes good, so it's okay.
Right, but I mean, it's still a healthy competition, right? I mean, you got InBev, you got craft beer. I mean, they're kind of pushing each other to do.
It's totally fine,
things.
but whenever InBev wants to sit around and complain and cry about the fact that craft brewers come out with an independent beer label and they're like, no, that's not a good thing because we're still making good beer. It's dumb because they are not in it to make a good product. They're in it to make a profit, period. And they don't want competition. They
right.
want
I mean, they're threatened for sure. Yeah.
They want to be the only game in town. They don't want friendly competition. Whereas craft brewers love competition because the more craft breweries you have in an area, the better everybody does. They look at it as synergy and not really competition.
Yeah.
Right. It's a community for sure.
And so, there comes a point whenever, competition can be hurtful as once you get too big. I mean, you look at what happened with Alpine and Green Flash and even with Stone. I mean, Stone had to lay off a ton of people. They got too big, and it's a harder thing for the larger craft breweries to deal with competition than it is for smaller craft brewers.
Right.
I can see that. Can I ask you to put your phone in your pocket? It messes with the mic's frequency and you get a weird.
Yeah, we get like a
This is my favorite thing. I love to mess with that.
I can't fix that.
By the way, Caleb Taylor in the Craft Conversation Studio today here at the Dale Zinn Garden, owner, proprietor.
Oh, the Dale
Homegrown
Zinn Garden?
Brewhouse.
We're not Craft Conversation Studio anymore?
No, I said we're at the Dale Zinn Garden and pub. But what are you doing? Why are you taking away my stuff, man?
I'm saying usually you lay it out better than that.
Owner, proprietor, Homegrown Brewhouse, downtown Summerville.
Which we have literally mentioned every single episode.
What's that? Oh, yeah, Homegrown Brewhouse.
Or Caleb. One of the two so far.
Yeah, we've mentioned either
I'll take
Caleb
it.
or Homegrown in every episode.
Let's keep it going. Actually, let's not mention me. Edit all that out. Don't mention my name at all during this whole podcast.
No way.
Or Homegrown.
Do you know how much
Brewhouse.
work that's going to be for you?
I think we'll lose listeners.
Just bleep it out every time you have to go through and bleep it out every time you hear it.
Today,
I think we ought to start a drinking game. Every time you hear Homegrown Brewhouse or Caleb Taylor, you have to take a shot or something, or inject some heroin into your arm.
Whoa!
That
Let's take it a different direction.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought you kind of started a little high. I'm like, do we need to take shots, really? Could we
There's
just
only
like
one way to go from there.
maybe like chug a beer?
Turn it up.
Yeah, I'd say so. Can we jump to the main goal right now?
Oh, we need to have a beer.
Fuck yeah.
All right, absolutely. Here
And
we go.
already in the beginning of this episode, you can now play this for your kids.
We're going to reach in the magic
Yeah, I know.
bag.
You're a jerk. I was going to make this the clean episode. It's like Captain America. We're going to clean this up.
We're going to reach in the magic bag here.
Should we
And,
do that?
We're going to set Caleb up first with the first pour of the day here.
Oh, I need a camera.
Yeah.
I think that this
We got a
is-
local brewery here, Ice House.
Oh, Edge.
They're local?
I have not had that.
We're doing an Ice House Edge.
This is actually appropriate glass for that beer. And yeah.
I figure we start with the proper beer for a Caleb Taylor episode.
Oh, that's great. Thank
Here,
you.
buddy. There's a Holy City glass there. We're repping some local breweries.
What do you got over there, Caleb? What's your glass?
It's a Coast.
Brewing Q.
All right.
It's a Coast glass.
Coast Glass. We got Holy City. Brian, you
And
have
we got,
Polly's
We
Island.
got some Polly's Island going on over here. We're going to top
Please.
Caleb off over here.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more water in my diet today.
You said you wanted a water. You got choked up. So we're doing a Ice House Edge.
Ooh, it's 8%. I mean,
8% alcohol. There's no IBUs listed
Wow.
for some reason. The average rating on Untapped is a 1.94.
Lay into it, man.
Yeah.
We're talking about IBUs.
Let's talk about IBUs. We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
You wanna?
Because I want to hear your explanation of an IBU. Because I totally screwed it up.
I liked yours, and then Caleb told me about IBUs, and I liked that one too.
We're gonna toast anything? We're gonna toast to
Let's toast to InBev.
let's toast to InBev.
Yay, InBev.
Nice.
Although, is Ice House InBev or are they?
Oh,
Miller?
really?
I
That's
can't
a Miller
remember.
product.
Yeah, Miller.
Miller Brewing
Which
Company.
is becoming part of InBev, so.
All right, so InBev is a separate thing. Is that just Budweiser or?
InBev is the largest brewing company in the world. They're out of Belgium. They bought Anheuser-Busch, like a decade ago or something
Yeah,
like that.
maybe that. A little shorter, maybe.
Wow, this is terrible.
Really? I was gonna say it's not really that bad.
It doesn't hide the alcohol very well.
Well, it's a malt, but it's a malt liquor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Come on, man.
I know what I'm drinking when I'm
It's
drinking.
the edge. It's
Oh,
the edge. I thought it was gonna be hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, I'm cracking up right now.
Maybe it wasn't as funny as I thought it was gonna be.
Can I not?
I'm gonna be
finish
honest,
that?
Brian. I didn't actually expect to drink the beer.
Yeah. Can we not finish this?
We can push it aside.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. Thanks.
I didn't actually expect to
All right,
drink
I might
it.
save it for later. You want to put it in the fridge? We'll drink it while we're editing.
Yeah, by that point, I'll just accept alcohol.
Yeah.
All right, one of us needs to calm the fuck down over here.
We'll drink it while we're editing. So, the real beer we're going to drink to start off with. Once you put that in there and get your camera ready.
Well, I'm trying to adjust the freaking mics over here, man.
Come on, man, get on
Screaming
that.
into your microphone.
I'm not screaming at all.
The levels don't lie.
Why are you so angry?
You turned it down already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I turned all of it down. I may have turned a little bit up.
Test. Looks good.
Okay, whatever. Shit. You gotta stop being so picky.
So how do you say this this brewery? Carolina
Bauernhaus.
Bauernhaus?
Bauernhaus.
Not Bauernhaus.
Bauernhaus. Not Bauernhaus.
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 I can ask David tomorrow, but that's all.
Oh, you gonna go see him?
He's coming to Homegrown.
Oh man.
You don't pay attention to anything.
I've got a wedding thing, and then I've got to go
Yeah, we're doing a bottle opening party with these guys.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Too bad we're not airing this today.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be in the past. If you're hearing this now and this is the first time you've heard this,
say the date.
then you missed it.
What is it? May 11th. You missed it.
Right.
Yeah, so we're going to be opening up a ton of their bottles and doing like samples for people.
That's freaking awesome.
All right.
You're right, it is.
So real quick, this is Encyclopedia. How do you say that word?
Brettanomyces.
Brettanomyces.
Yeah.
From Carolina.
Bauernhaus.
Yeah, that guy. 5.2% ABV, no IBUs. We brewed this rustic refined ale with our friends at Newgrass Brewing in order to explore barrel aging. An ale with all the
Brettanomyces
strains we could get our hands on. We brewed a rustic saison with loads of North Carolina malt, a bit of South Carolina raw wheat. Say that together quickly.
Raw wheat.
Yeah.
Raw wheat.
Raw wheat.
And just a touch of color. After primary fermentation with our native ale strain, the ale was red wine. Why can't I say R's and W's together? Red wine barrel aged with 12 strains of Brett. See, they abbreviated Brett right there. I like that. Provided by Newgrass.
For
God
people
damn,
like
there's
you.
a whole fucking... Okay, the result is Encyclopedia Brett, an incredibly funky and fruity character with a dry, refreshing finish.
Yeah, they list all the Bretts on there.
I'm not going to
Christ.
lie.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of
I think
B, blah, blah, blah,
is
B,
it
blah,
12
blah, blah,
Bretts?
B,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because there are a lot of strains. So.
I mean, if you want to read those, do you want to read them?
No, I really don't.
Okay.
I call them like Brett A, Brett B, Brett C. So I don't.
You want the Wicked Weed glass?
Give me whatever. I mean, whatever. You've already sold out, so.
So true.
I've sold in, brother. Sold in.
Mm-hmm.
How exciting.
And true to form, I've got a little bit left.
All right. Now,
I'm going to top them off.
let's actually toast to something we all believe in.
Jesus. Why is that funny?
Why you guys
Why would you laugh at
bunch
that?
of haters?
Good Lord.
I don't believe in Jesus.
All right. Well,
I'll toast to Harry Potter. That means
we all
about as
believe
much
in
to
Leia.
me.
We all believe in Leia.
Fuck.
My dog downstairs.
All right, whatever. Cheers to Leia.
Cheers to free beer. Let's cheers to that.
Free for us.
Right. Oh, nice. It's a book, actually, on the cover
It
here.
is an encyclopedia.
Have you been to Newgrass?
Smells great.
I am not.
I've
My
never.
brother and I went up there. Bruce, we went to, that's in, freak.
Oh, we kept it clean. A little late now, buddy.
It's in North Carolina. Oh, I can't remember.
You're
the city
literally
it's in.
sitting in front of.
I know, but I was trying to remember it. I'm trying to prove that I don't have dementia and that I can remember something.
So you failed.
It's in, Jesus.
It's lighter than I expected.
Yeah, very light. I mean, mild on the bitterness, or not the bitterness, sourness. I definitely get the red wine for sure.
What do you think, Caleb?
Well, I like it.
No, it's very mild.
It's clean.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
plain.
which is funny to call it clean, but with all the Brett. But
No,
it's
plain
good.
would be
Oh,
a
I
good
know.
name. But yeah,
I mean, it's
when
not
you,
really like, a lot of times you can get what they call horse blanket or
when you get 7
Horse
different
blanket?
Brett strains in there.
yeah,
Which is.
Brett will create things that smell like horse blanket or
I don't even.
wet hay.
Okay, I see that.
Sometimes, but you can also get like fruity notes like pineapple, things like that. So.
Yeah,
Shelby, North Carolina. How did I forget that?
What are you even talking about anymore?
Newgrass Brewing
Yeah,
Company is in
North
Shelby, North Carolina.
Oh.
Yeah. My brother
I like
and I
their
drove
logo.
through there one time and stopped at the brewery. It was a really nice brewery, actually. I think Bruce even got a T-shirt.
That is information I needed.
Well, Bruce will be happy. He got mentioned.
No, I like this. It's good.
Yeah.
It's sweeter than I was expecting. Not really that tart.
No, it's
Light,
very good.
easy to drink. I think it would be like a crowd pleaser. A lot of people would be able to enjoy this. Because when you get some of those sours, you're like,
It'd be a
oh,
good
these are
introductory.
amazing. Yeah. And then it's like only if you are a aficionado for sours would you enjoy that kind of sour. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, sour, there's a lot of different things that can be sour. So, the sour category has a lot. Like the standard American wild ale is kind of what everybody lumps a lot of stuff into, and it really doesn't mean anything. It just means that it's a beer that's using Brettanomyces yeast in it. So,
Seriously? That's so vague.
it's very vague. But a lot of times people don't want to call their beer whatever the style they're going after. So if they're trying to make like a lambic, it's technically not a lambic. They'll just call it a wild American ale.
Oh.
Because to make a lambic, you technically have to make it in Belgium. But
Oh.
Right.
and it takes like up to 3 years to make a true lambic.
Yeah, so you got a Lambic, you got a Berliner Weiss, you got a Brett beer, you got American Wild Ale. I mean, what's the difference between all those things?
So like
I mean, you explained Lambic already, but
Berliner Weisses and Gueuzes are gonna typically be just straight up lacto fermented. So it'll have lactobacillus in it, which is what you find like in yogurt. Well, it's what creates that tartness in yogurt. So not necessarily has nothing to do with your lactate issue.
I don't have a lactating issue, Caleb.
You can milk anything with nipples. So like those are going to be like just pretty much very tart, like a sharp tartness to them, and they're not necessarily going to have Brettanomyces yeast. Brettanomyces is a wild yeast. It's what can dry. So let's just talk about yeast. Yay.
Okay.
Okay, so you have Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is lager yeast, and then Saccharomyces, cerevisiae is ale yeast. Sorry,
You're fine.
You touched my mic.
I moved it closer.
Yeah, so cerevisiae is going to be your
much
ale
better.
yeast, and then Pastoranus is the lager yeast. Those are your two main yeast strains for beer. So, lager yeast is going to make everything under the lager category, like pilsners and things like that.
right, lower temperature fermenting.
Yeah, so they say that it ferments from the bottom up, but it's colder fermented is typically what you're going to have.
Right.
And then your ale yeasts are going to be pretty much everything outside in that category. And then Brettanomyces is a wild yeast. It literally means Britain fungus. And it was originally discovered in wooden tanks in Britain. So that's where it comes from. And it's what they discovered what makes beer go bad or spoil over time.
Was that traditionally like open fermentation type things, or is that something totally different?
No, it just so you find Brettanomyces on a lot of on fruits. So it's on everything, grain. I mean, it can be naturally on things. So
open fermentation is something totally different.
Open fermentation is totally different. So,
Okay.
So if you want to talk about the history of fermentation, people would literally take. They would take old beer to make new beer. So they didn't know what they were doing, but they were taking leftover beer that was left over at the bottom of tanks, and they were starting up. They were pouring the new beer on top, or the new wort on top of it, and then it would begin fermentation. They would call that God is good because they had no idea what fermentation was. They just knew that once they saw fermentation happen, they would thank God that it worked. They would also have what they called a magic stick. They would take a stick and they would literally stick it in the beer on the wort, and then eventually that would become beer, it would ferment. And they didn't realize that that stick had yeast on the stick. I mean, that's what it is. And the tanks, they were fermenting in wooden tanks, so it naturally holds yeast and bacteria in that. And so when a beer is young, it wouldn't necessarily be sour, but as it gets older, it would become sour. So in England, they would have old ales, which is more sour than a fresh young beer. Oude Bruin, which is a sour beer, literally means old brown ale. I mean,
right, which is what we're doing next.
We're doing a Gueuze next.
Oh, that's right.
Gueuze is
Gueuze,
what
yeah.
makes. That's actually what makes for good lambic beers.
Okay.
It's the base for it. And so, and they traditionally would do open fermentation. So, if you look at like Revelry is the only one in the area right now that has a cool ship. And so, what they would do is they would make their wort like normal, and they would put it in a cool ship to literally cool the wort, and then allow the vents and the upper levels of the barns to have air flow through the barn. And so, you'd have yeast and bacteria that's in the air would settle onto the wort, and then when they pumped it out, it would stay in the beer, and that's what would ferment the beer. So they would call it spontaneous fermentation, and it's not really spontaneous because it's literally just coming from the outside. And so Revelry actually has a cool ship that they built on top of their brewery.
What are you saying? Are you saying wort or wart?
Wort.
Wort.
Yeah.
Which is what?
WORT, right?
That is the beer before it becomes beer. It's beer before fermentation.
Oh.
So
It's
the sugar. It's the malt sugar water with hops.
The stuff you don't want to drink. Gotcha.
It's everything before you add the yeast.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So it's during the boil.
The wort.
Wort.
Gotcha. I have never heard that before. I was like, what?
Yeah, they say that brewers don't make beer; they make wort, and yeast makes beer.
Interesting.
True.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean everything before that is just what they call a mash. You're just mashing all this stuff together, right? Is that what?
Yeah. Well, so the mash is you're mashing your grain. So you're taking grain, whatever it might be, but it's going to be mostly barley, and then a mixture of whatever else you have in there. You're adding hot water to it, and then you're pulling that from the mash into your boil kettle, and that's just that's your sugar water. That's your base right there.
Right. So the mash is extracting the malt from the grains.
Yeah.
That's the mash.
Yes, and
Okay.
so you take.
And then you're putting that into the boil, and that's your wort. Is that what we're saying?
You're adding hops during the boil, and then that's your wort, and then
Okay.
you transfer that into your fermenter
Right.
with your yeast, and then it becomes beer.
Do you have to do anything to the hops, or can you just drop them in?
Well, there's different stages. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so you have. It's funny because like Miller, they triple hop their beers, which is interesting because everybody triple hops their beers.
You have a bittering, a finishing, and a flavoring, right?
Yeah,
Like three.
yeah. So typically, your first hops you put in, those are your bittering hops. Those are the ones that are actually going to. You're not really going to get a whole lot of flavor or aroma out of those hops. They're just to counteract the sweetness of the malt sugar.
Okay.
Then later on in the boil, you put in your flavoring hops, and you're going to mostly get flavor out of them, not as much aroma. And then the last hops you put in, you're getting more aroma out of. And then whenever you dry hop, which is during the fermentation process, you're really just getting aroma out of those hops.
First episode, we finally answered what dry hopping is. We talked about it with Mike Carcut.
I know. I didn't answer that.
It was very up in the air.
No, I said dry hopping comes after the boil. I mean, it's during the fermentation. You're dropping those dry hops into the fermenter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said that already.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. And you're not an expert, right? I mean, you were trying to get your Cicerone, but you actually got it, or
No, I never actually took the test.
I mean,
Wow.
I consider you an expert, but
Just coming out, holding
No.
no blows back.
Well, I didn't want to spend the money. At the point in time, I mean, like I own my own business, so there's really no point in me having it right now. If I was trying to go for a certain position, having it would be great. More spending the money on it at the time didn't really make any sense to me because it would be just for personal reasons and not for anything that would actually be helpful. So
right. And for those that don't know what we're talking about, Cicerone is like a beer expert, I guess.
It's like the sommelier for beer.
Right. With sommelier is for wine.
Yeah.
In case people don't know that either, but yeah. So it's just a nice piece of
becoming,
paper that says, I'm an expert at beer.
It's eventually going to become more and more important, especially in restaurants and places like that want to have credibility. Like, I mean, you look at if you have a good wine program, you have to have a sommelier that knows what they're talking about. And if you don't have, and you want one that's a higher level sommelier, and it's more for, part of it's for competing with other businesses, other restaurants. Part of it is just to make sure that you know, like when somebody puts a resume in or something, you know that person knows what they're talking about because they have been accredited.
Right.
So
yeah.
And so it'll be the same in the beer world. So if you're looking to hire somebody, especially if you have a business to where the beer portion of it is very important, you can look at the fact that they are a certified Cicerone or an advanced Cicerone or a master Cicerone, and you can say, okay, I know that this person knows this much information. Right. So
it's like when I was in the IT world, we had an A+ certification, a Security Plus certification, Network Plus. So the more certifications, the more you get paid, the more they trust you, the more they think you know what you know. But I don't know.
And just because you don't have that degree doesn't mean you don't know your stuff. But at the same point in time, it's an easy way to kind of filter out a lot of those things.
Right.
And so
yeah,
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah,
makes total sense.
Yeah. Someday I'm
going to take the test. I just
how much is it
on the back burner? It's like $300, I think.
Oh,
Clay had it.
Wow.
And if you,
I don't give a shit.
Just saying, he had a little pin, a little Cicerone pin. It's cool.
Still works at a
one.
grocery store.
Yeah, it's true. He works at a grocery store. Why are we talking bad about Clay?
I'm not trying to talk bad about him. I'm just like,
right. But yeah, the Cicerone didn't get you very far. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, basically.
You should be working for Hank's Chop House or something. I don't know.
Well, it's fine. So that kind of in our current beer climate in Charleston, yes, okay, it's more beneficial for you at a place like Lowe's because they care about their beer program there. It would probably matter at like a Whole Foods or places like that, more like grocery stores that really push their beer programs, a Total Wine or places like that. It's not so much as important at restaurants right now, and unfortunately, it's a very unfortunate thing because people like to look so highly on wine and not so much on beer, and it's a funny thing because beer can actually do a lot of things for food that wine cannot do. Wine actually, it's a lot tougher to pair wine with salads or to pair wines with fatty foods, even chocolates. People all the time want to pair wine with chocolate. Well, chocolate actually coats your tongue. White wines coat your tongue, so you taste less as you eat and drink. And so a lot of times what they do is they'll end up taking sparkling wine and pairing sparkling wine with some of these things because sparkling wine it's the effervescence of it and the acidity can actually clear your palate, which is what beer does.
Right.
All beer does that because all beer has carbonation. And so beer is a better pairing with a lot of foods than wine is, and it's more forgiving than wine can be.
Oh.
So,
what do you mean by that?
You can pretty much take almost any beer and pair it with food, and it's going to taste good because of like I said, it's got some leeway there, especially like Belgian beers. You can take almost any Belgian beer and pair it with food, and it's going to be, going to go well. But there are good beer pairings and there are better beer pairings. So
I like that. You're already starting off ahead of the game.
Yeah, but unfortunately, people look down on beer because beer is associated with Budweiser and things like that, to where it's like
getting drunk and partying.
It's the common man, and it's been that way for a long time. It's the common man's beverage, and so you have these people that think of wine as more it's for nobility. It's so automatically wine is better than beer, but they all have their place. It just depends, and so it's getting people to change their perception of what beer is kind of a tough thing. And even in a place like Charleston's a foodie town, and it's getting better, but you still have these places that don't really. You have these very nice restaurants that don't give their beer.
Yes. Any kind of attention whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly, and it's dumb. Like, it makes no sense, but once again, part of the issue too is the client base. You have these clients that come in, and I see these people all the time. There's people with this money, and it's
that's what I was going to make a generalization too. I mean, I don't want to say that it's because of women, but women drink more wine than they do beer, right? I mean, are we catering toward the women at these places?
Let me finish my thought, and then we'll talk about that. Okay. So, wine is a status symbol. So people with money automatically are going to buy wine. It's a status symbol. Now, with women actually have more taste buds than men, and so they are able to taste things better. But unfortunately, women go to college with really douchey guys that drink really crappy beer, and so they associate beer as being that really crappy product that their douchey boyfriend drank to get drunk in college. They had
Miller,
a lot of
High Life,
edges.
Edges.
And so for them, it's like, okay, beer sucks. It doesn't taste good. And so they automatically go to other things that taste better. And it's funny because I have people come in all the time, women especially, who are like, I don't like beer. And I'm like, well, that's false. You just haven't tasted the beer that you like. And they'll tell me what kind of wine they like or what kind of liquor they like. And I'll give them a beer. And like, oh, I actually like this. This tastes good. I'm like, yeah, because it's beer. It's not yellow fizzy water that doesn't really taste good. It's actually beer.
Right. We can find those flavors that you like, those nuances that you like. We can find your beer.
Yeah, because there are hundreds and hundreds of beer styles out there. And,
thousands.
Yeah. And so unfortunately,
well, styles maybe 100, but
yeah. And so unfortunately, in this country, after Prohibition, we dumbed ourselves down to one type of beer, and actually, it's not even really until the 70s.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What would you credit the beginning of the craft industry? Like, when?
It wasn't really until the 80s that it started to take off. It was after Carter legalized home brewing.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't. I'm not that old.
Nice.
No, I mean, I don't remember it happening like in the moment, but I remember hearing about craft home brewing with Carter.
Sure.
I don't remember it like the day it happened.
No.
Like, oh, look, Dad, we're watching channel 2 or 3 channels, and hey, he talked about home.
You say 3 channels in the 80s?
3 channels, yeah.
Come on.
I mean, this country was founded on immigrants, and so you had immigrants that were all coming from different backgrounds that drank good beer. And so we had good beer in this country, and then Prohibition happened, and so we pretty much got rid of all good beer. And then as soon as Prohibition ended, you ended up with just a few major companies that took over.
Good.
And they started making the same kind of beer over and over and over again. And then by the 70s, that's when the light American adjunct lager popped out. Miller Lite was the first one to come out with that.
Oh, wow.
And
I thought Yingling was the light version.
Yingling is an American adjunct lager. That is a truly historic American style. The reason that they made that was because when German immigrants originally came to this country, we didn't have good barley. And so in order to kind of drop the protein out of the beer, they were using corn and rice as a lightening agent to make their beer.
Oh,
and so there's nothing wrong with an American adjunct lager. It's just now Budweiser, InBev are using the cheapest possible product they can to make a flavorless beer is what they're trying to come out with. So, and the light American adjunct lager came along at the same time as like sliced cheese and white bread. It was, let's homogenize everything. Let's get rid of real cheese. Let's get rid of real bread. Let's get rid of anything that's real. Let's put it all in a very generic labeled can or whatever. And that's what our country turned into.
Mass
Well, I mean, is that
processing.
just profits? I mean, is that what we're looking at? I mean,
I would say
That's part of it.
Yeah, a huge part, in my opinion.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we went along with it. America went along with it for a long time.
I mean, to an extent, we still are.
It's getting a lot better, though. I mean, if you can go to the supermarkets now and you can see that hey, look, there's more than craft cheese out there. There's actually there's more than one type of cheese in the world. Go figure.
We should start a craft cheese podcast. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna exclude myself from that one.
Some cheeses soon.
Were you thirsty? Jesus Christ!
Yeah. But it's the same with bread too, man. You go to a supermarket now. There's actually more than just white bread on the shelves.
Yeah.
You have people actually making bread again. People making cheese again. People making beer again. And so it's getting better.
Okay. I can see that. Obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean it's exploding for sure.
I mean, Lowe's is a great example. They've got a fancy cheese, bread, and beer section.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that makes sense all around.
I was going to bring that up, but I didn't want to mention them.
What, Lowe's?
Yeah.
Well, now they've been mentioned.
It doesn't matter. Everyone's going to go to the hardware store and be like, where is the beer?
Where's the
You
bread?
guys got some cheese here.
There's no bread in here at all.
I don't want none of that slice stuff either.
I was doing research the other day looking for, I think Boar's Head makes fancy lactose-free cheese.
Why? What's up with all this whole lactose-free thing? We don't care.
All right, touche.
We want flavor in our cheese.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
not
man,
really cheese anymore.
I was born with a
Keep
defect.
that out of here.
So
Is it cow's milk or is it any?
I
don't really know much about it. So, like, could you have a goat cheese?
Yes,
Okay, well there you go.
supposedly.
Or sheep's milk.
what do you mean supposedly? You haven't tested it?
Well,
I mean,
I'm
we
not-
asking online, and they got.
I'm not
goat,
entirely
sheep,
sure.
Cow. We can try them all out and see.
Well,
what
I don't.
happens.
I know lactose intolerance. I think it's just specifically like usually it's just cow stuff, just
Yeah.
intense lactose.
That's what I thought, but I have no
So
idea.
cheddar, I just found out cheddar, Parmesan, and Swiss have less than 0.5% lactose in the cheese. So most lactose intolerant people can still eat those cheeses and it doesn't bother them.
Okay.
So I'm thinking goat cheese or whatever else you mentioned, sheep cheese. It's probably so low in lactose that
cheese.
it doesn't actually affect people. I say I don't know because I haven't just sat down and I'm like, well, let's see what happens in 15 minutes. I'm going to eat this cheese.
Right, and I'm sure it's different for every person, right? I mean,
Yeah, so I am, I think, very sensitive from what I've read online because I will eat ice cream and it dries my throat out and I'll practically die.
Yeah, well, don't do that.
Yeah, so it's different. I'm just afraid of all kinds of cheeses.
Just saying, they're out there.
Okay, I don't need you to pressure me into this.
They're waiting. For
I'm
you.
doing just fine without it.
Are you? Are you? You don't know.
I don't know. I guess
You
I
don't know
did
if
bring
you're
it up a
living or
lot.
not.
Oh no.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I can't imagine because I love my cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I could do without milk, but I like cheese.
Yeah, milk's pretty easy to get away with.
I love milk, but
Okay.
we
I
don't
used to. I mean,
We
used to
don't.
be. I drank a gallon of milk a day easily.
What?
Oh yeah, I used to love.
I used to down it, man.
chocolate milk, regular milk, any milk. I drink it out the carton, out of the fridge.
We don't typically keep milk in the house though these days, so
Yeah, but I haven't drank milk in forever.
That's disgusting. Give me goosebumps. That's so gross.
Well, you don't know. You just don't know.
Oh, one time I was a little kid and I was chasing my little brother around our house. And while he was hiding, I thought I was going to be sneaky. And I found his sippy cup. And I was like, oh, I'm going to drink this dude's juice. Heck yeah.
And then you died.
I chugged it and it was milk. And I just sprayed it everywhere. No, at the time,
I want it straight from the udder.
you would, wouldn't you? Just get underneath. I'm not even going to do it. Where's that? What number is that? 44. Write that one down.
So anyway, Caleb Taylor here. He's a business owner, proprietor here in town, Homegrown Brewhouse. But you're not from here, right? I mean, where are you from originally?
Well, I grew up on Hilton Head.
Hilton Head? I
Yeah.
thought it was Arkansas for some
I was
reason.
born in Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
And then, I only
Yeah.
lived there for like a year. Then we moved to Texas, and I lived in Austin. through kindergarten, and then in '89 moved to Hilton Head.
That's when I was born. A lot of big things happened in '89.
'89 it was the welcome to South Carolina, Hurricane Hugo, and then we had the Great Blizzard of '89.
Whoa, we had a blizzard in '89 too?
Yeah.
Right, that was the biggest one before last year, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got more snow this past year than we did during
That's probably why I'm cold all the time. Blizzard. When I was a baby.
That was '89.
I know. I was born that year.
And then last year we had 7 inches.
Yeah.
Right? Was that the max?
Yeah, something like that.
6, 7.
It was amazing.
It was a lot.
Yeah. We're getting way off topic here. We don't need to talk about.
We're just talking.
Yeah, but for some reason,
talking about 7 inches.
For some reason, I thought you were from Arkansas.
Well, that's why I'm a Razorback fan, because all of my family's from Arkansas. So
right.
Yeah.
Which?
Woo Pig Suey.
What?
Woo Pig Suey.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I just had to throw it out there for all the Arkansas fans who are listening.
I was gonna say what sport is that? But
is that the
college?
Chant?
College.
It's college, so it's college football, college basketball.
Okay, so all of the sports.
Yes.
Gotcha.
We're very good in track and field.
Okay, cool.
And baseball.
Okay.
Yeah. Baseball's good.
But we have more national titles in track and field than anybody else.
Really?
Yeah, if you watch the Olympics a lot of time, like Summer Olympics, there's a lot of people from Arkansas that participate, like all over the world.
Okay.
So.
Speaking of sports, let's talk about your curling obsession.
Curling is the best. See, you want to laugh, but I've been watching curling for years.
Are you serious? It's not a new thing?
I'm talking about like 3 or 4 Olympics ago. I was like totally into curling. Every time on my lunch break, I would go and watch curling whenever the Winter Olympics was taking place. Loved it. I think it's fantastic. They call it chess on ice.
It is kind of a cool sport.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Chess on ice?
Yeah, it is. It's a very like methodical sport. It's not. I mean,
because I like chess a lot.
And you can use sport like very liberally there, but after going curling, I mean, I was really sore the next day.
Oh, so you've done it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's part of a team.
Well, it was Austin Gilbert and Jonathan Barrow and Lisa Barrow. We formed our own little curling team.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know about this.
Right.
Yeah.
He talks about it a lot.
This at the Ice Palace by chance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were at.
I guess that's the only place to go in town.
We were at Mike Carkett's Super Bowl party, and I was talking to Austin and the Barrows about it. I was like, "They do curling. We need to do this." And then the next day, when everybody was sober, I double checked with them, and they all were still on board. And so we had to. It took 2 months though. It took 2 months for us to be able to get a practice session in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because they filled up quick.
Wow. Oh, you literally had to have like a waiting list?
Oh yeah, we signed up and waited 2 months before we could actually go to our first practice session.
So
we need to open an ice rink apparently.
Is there like a league in town?
Yeah, Charleston Curling Club. And so they do like a lot of pickup games and things like that. So, what?
Wow. There's so many things around town that you don't even know about.
I
We got a curling league. We had kickball down at Reverie. I mean,
I think there's a Quidditch team downtown.
Charleston.
There is.
Yeah.
That's all. That's right up your alley.
It is. That's more up my alley than curling.
Yeah. Curling is a blast.
I would do curling.
No.
Is that the right term? I would play curling. I would curl.
You can say whatever you want. I'm gonna let you.
You're
That's
supposed
like,
to be the fact checker here.
That's like one of the first podcasts when you were talking about is it a batter or a hitter? And you said batter up. It's a batter.
At least I
got
got it.
so much when you said that. I don't know why. Okay. So
I don't know sports.
You don't remember that?
No.
So curling. So can you? Man, I'm gonna have to get into that because you don't even have to know how to skate, right? You don't put skates on. It's like little.
No.
Do you wear your own shoes, or do they have shoes you put on?
So you can get your own curling shoes, or you can get like the little slip-on for your shoes.
But like when you went to the Ice Palace, so
they don't have that. They've got like this little pad that you step on to slide with, and I mean it works, but they have like this little, they call it crutch.
Yeah.
They teach you how to like curl by holding this crutch, and So I did that. We all did that the first week. And then the second week, the girl that we were with, she was like, do you guys want to learn how to do it without it? I'm like, yeah. So so I got to learn how to do it with just holding the broom. And I was like, this is great. Which is great because I was looking around. There are people who've been curling for I don't know how long, and they're all still using the crutch.
Broom?
Like, yeah. Because you have to have the broom anyways. But
okay.
you hold the broom, and like the broom on your side when you're throwing the stone, and it kind of keeps your balance.
Okay,
So,
I can see that.
that's great. So.
And the point of curling is to try and get your stone into the most center part of the to knock everybody else out.
They call it the house, and then the button is the center. And so it's similar to shuffleboard or bags or cornhole, whatever. Bocce ball. Like there's a lot of similarities between all these things.
Yeah.
And so, or darts. Like so, the whole point is to get as close to the center as possible.
Right.
And if you get closest to the center, you get the point plus every single stone that you have in between that stone and the nearest opponent's stone.
Okay.
So
yeah, I wasn't too sure on the scoring. I mean, I knew you were trying to get to the center and knock everybody else.
Yeah. So if you have like one in the center and then two more, and then your opponent has one outside of that, you get 3 points.
Okay.
So.
All right.
You notice that.
That's a good.
And there's a lot of strategy in it. That's what I'm saying. It's
forget kayaking. We're doing curling.
Well, we're gonna have to wait 2 months apparently, so you might as well still go kayaking.
Yeah.
But it was interesting that you tied it all together to other sports, because that kind of rings true as humans. In different settings, we always like to play games, and they're pretty similar. Yep. And you're looking at totally different settings. Like obviously bocce ball, in my opinion, I love playing at the beach.
Yeah.
I mean, then you have the same almost.
And it's the same principle.
Right. That's so cool. I mean, humans.
Horseshoes. Yeah. I mean, that's.
You don't get sunburned.
Horseshoe.
So, yeah.
Oh, dude, I got so sunburned today.
Oh, you don't even want to know what's underneath this shirt right now.
You're right.
The sunburn.
We don't want to know.
The sunburn I got in Colorado on Saturday is finally starting to show its ugly head. Yeah, it's not good. I've been trying to loosen up ever since, but
okay.
It's getting weird.
All right. Buffalo Bill.
It puts the lotion on. All right, what's next? Caleb, how did you drink all your beer already?
Honestly,
you're a lush.
Yeah, you're so freaking crazy.
Why don't you grab an ice house out and finish that?
Yeah.
That's okay. I got water right here.
Oh man.
It took me like about half that glass to get that taste out of my mouth. Thank you.
We'll blame it on that. That's why I drank it so fast.
I rather enjoyed it. I thought it was all right. Yeah. But I used to drink 40-ounce bowls all the time. That was my go-to when I was growing up as a kid, teenager. Yeah. When I wasn't supposed to be drinking. That was the quickest way to get drunk. You get a 40-ounce bowl.
Or you could get, liquor.
Well, that's
like
true, too.
Real liquor.
But it was easier to go to a gas station and get a 40-ounce bowl than it was to get somebody to go into a liquor store and buy you some liquor.
I get it. I'm just saying, it's just funny to me all the time. People are like, oh, it's got a lot of alcohol. Or people that want to buy like a case of Budweiser to get drunk. It's like, no, that's disgusting. Just buy a handle of the cheapest liquor you can get and then chug that. If you really just want to get trashed,
solid point.
Just do that.
I used to go get Fighting Cock.
Of course you would.
Cheap as hell.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a whiskey, I think. Or bourbon.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, it's very cheap, but you got drunk off of it.
It's very popular in Colombia.
Yeah.
I'm just making things up right now.
It clicked at one point. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I didn't drink until post 21, so I didn't have any roundabout ways to get alcohol.
No, I didn't drink until after 21.
Right.
So.
Really?
Yeah.
We're so similar. That's the same name.
Wow.
And then drink till after 21.
I was drinking like 12 or 13.
Oh.
No, I remember
I was in a gang though.
That's true. You were.
My parents who don't drink at all anymore. They haven't in a long time. They used to drink like Coors, I think is what it was. And I remember one day I was a kid, so still living in Sea Pines Plantation. So somewhere around 89, 90. I remember like asking them if this cup had apple juice. I was like, oh, apple juice. And like What is that, man? I'm in the middle of a story.
What the hell?
Can you put your phone on silent?
Dude, my phone is on.
What was that?
Oh, that was my phone.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Jesus, we're in the middle of a story, Caleb.
Dude, I didn't know it was
It's like
Caleb
at the
Choir.
movie theater, and you just ruined the whole movie. I don't even know what it was. So my parents had like a cup there or something that had, I thought was apple juice in it. Like, oh yeah, sure, take a sip. I took a sip. It was the most disgusting thing I'd ever tasted in my life because it wasn't apple juice. I was expecting apple juice. It wasn't apple juice.
Like apple pie.
And so I automatically associated with beer as being this nasty subject. Because I thought, I was like, oh, it's beer. And so beer was always disgusting to me until like way later in life.
Yeah, how'd you get into craft beer?
So very interesting. So it's funny, the first beer I ever had that I actually liked was a Frambois, Lindemann's Frambois. I remember having it and going, oh, I really like this. This is a really good beer. But at the same point in time, I was drinking Riesling, like really sweet Riesling, things like that. Because I grew up, I had Mountain Dew. I would drink like a case of Mountain Dew a day.
Oh, yeah.
I was a true American. And so like super sweet tea, like over the top, like just really sweet things. It's just that's Americans. And so I had a Frambois at Kaminsky's.
Okay.
And I was like, this is beer? I really like this. And if you've ever had Lindemann's Frambois, it's nothing like a real Frambois. It's like super sweet raspberry. And after that, then I actually started getting into other beers. I started drinking. I was like, maybe I do like beers. And so I started testing the waters with other things. And then eventually I came back to real sour beers. And it's like, oh, I really like sour beers. But like not that kind of sour, like real sour.
I understand.
So you got into craft beer through sours.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it took me forever to get into sours.
Oh,
it's funny because I feel like there's two kinds of people. There's people that initially really like sour beers, and that's what gets them into beer. Or there's the people that like don't associate that with beer at all. But technically, sour beers are the oldest styles of beer in the world.
Makes sense.
I used to go up to Homegrown all the time. I want to look at your stupid list, and I'm like, Caleb, I can't even remotely understand what I'm looking at. I'm like, I don't know what I want. Would you please just give me something that I will like? And you just literally the biggest exasperation, like sigh that I could get, and then he would just pour me something.
Right.
And that's eventually how I started getting into it. And then obviously since he started with sours, I was introduced to sours, and that's pretty much where I started. But wheats were my biggest thing.
Wheat?
Yeah, now I don't drink wheat beers.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of wheats anymore.
That much.
And that's kind of where I started, was wheat beer, because it was kind of, less bitter, and it was a little more filling, I guess. You could just drink one or two and you'd be done. But
yeah.
And classic styles. We had a place down when I was stationed in Valdosta, Georgia, back in the early 90s. Had a English pub down there that had a really good, unfiltered classic wheat, and my favorite style of beer for like 10 years.
Yeah.
That's a long
Now,
time.
now I can't drink them at all. I really don't like them at all.
I really love Hefeweizens and wheat beers, and I still like them. I like all beers, but I really got later on into saisons and sour beers. So those are kind of my go-tos.
Yeah. And that's why we're drinking what we're drinking tonight.
Damn straight. And it was good while it lasted.
So, I guess we go into that, right? Homegrown Brewhouse, how'd that come about? When and how, and how'd the vision come?
Well, it was really funny. So, I started brewing beer, I guess about 10 years ago. My sister-in-law gave me a Mr. Beer kit. And, that was one of
those little small ones, right?
Yeah, and so I ran through, like, the 4-pack or whatever it was that came with the kit and was like, all right, I'm ready to move on. And then started doing all-grain beer. And the first all-grain beer I ever made was a sour beer. I made a Berliner Weiss, never actually ever having a Berliner Weiss before.
Oh, wow.
I was like, this sounds like a cool style. I'm going to make it.
Oh, are you serious?
And so I made a Berliner Weiss.
How was it?
It was really good, and I of course didn't do it the traditional way. I used actually lactic acid to do it. But then eventually started doing it more of a traditional method. But I thought it turned out really good. It was super tart. I loved it. And so, but it was fun. So I was doing that. I was working at Charleston Place Hotel. I worked there for 7 years. And for my 30th birthday, my wife threw me a surprise birthday party at Holy City. And it was the first thing like that they had ever done. And I remember being there and I was like, I could do this for the rest of my life. Just be in the beer world and not be doing what I'm doing right now. And it was actually later on that year that I quit my job and started Homegrown.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife was like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And I'm like, I want to make beer. And she's like, nah, not really. What do you want to do? I'm like, I'm being serious. This is what I want to do.
Right.
And
But you're still not making beer, though.
I'm still not
serving
making
beer.
I'm serving beer.
Right.
That
was 4 years
that
ago?
was that was 5 years ago.
5 years.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
But
you're getting ready, right?
yeah,
what's
so
going on with that?
we're trying to put the brewery in at Homegrown, and we ended up gonna have to change the name. And I was gonna have to change a lot of things, and I love what I've done so far. I love the concept. The concept actually came from the fact that 12 years ago, my wife and I went to Lisbon, and we went to Portugal and Spain for our honeymoon. And in Lisbon, there was a place that had, the town we were staying in, Palmela, outside of Lisbon. At the bottom of this hill, there was a place that was pretty much like an ambassadorship for Portuguese wine. So you went in there, it's like all this different Portuguese wine. That's all it was, just Portuguese wine. And then when we went into Lisbon, there was actually a port house that only served Porto, like real authentic
Love it.
port.
Yeah.
And so that kind of always stuck with me. I really liked that. And then later on, going to, I went to Asheville, and it's like everybody in Asheville, they were supporting local North Carolina Asheville breweries. Like you go to places and it was like a ton of local breweries. And in Charleston, it just wasn't the case. There was, everybody would have like maybe one token beer on tap. It's like, okay, we have Pluck Mud Porter and that's it. Or we have White Tie and that's it. Or we have Palmetto Lager and that's our local beer. We're done. And so I was like, that sucks. Like it's just a stupid scene to where we're not supporting our local brands. And so I kind of modeled the whole Homegrown idea out of supporting local South Carolina beers. And I love it. I love what I've done. And so kind of like changing up the format was kind of hard anyways, and having to change the name of the place, and then not really being able to do as much production brewing as I wanted to. It kind of was just, I originally put the place on the market just to kind of see how much. I got a broker to come in to really just tell me the valuation of the place for purposes of forming an LLC. And after he told me what he thought it was worth, and I was like, no, not really. I was like, okay, I've got this and this and this. All these are problems. So how much do you really think? Like, let's come down in price. And he's like, no, this is the price that I think that it's worth. I really think you can get that much for it. So I was like, all right, fine. And so the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? If I just sell it and let somebody else kind of move on with Homegrown, then I can actually go on to start a production brewery and do what I really want to do. And so, like I said, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I feel like there's two kinds of people in the world. There's creators, and then there's cultivators. And so, creators are the people that make things from almost like from scratch. It's like doing art or music or anything like that you guys talk about on this podcast. And then there's cultivators, who are the people who will take what that creation is and kind of continue it on, or maybe even make it better. And so, and I've always been a creator. I've always liked to make things from scratch, but I don't necessarily typically like to maintain it. And so I'm like, this is a great opportunity to actually create something new.
Okay.
So
I love it. I think it's such a great idea.
Yeah. So when can we expect that?
As soon as someone buys
Somebody buy my spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've had
Which is the classic thing. It's only worth what somebody will pay for it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I've had a few people look at it, and it hasn't been a perfect fit for the people who've looked at it yet. But I've got a couple other people who are still interested, and so I don't know. When somebody offers the right amount, I'll say, all right, now it's time to move on.
Right.
So, I would love to see Homegrown stick around and for somebody else to take it to the next level that I just can't take it there right now. And so it would be nice to see it stay the same, but it might not stay the same.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Might be a law firm or something.
No.
Whoa. And that
Slow down.
My hope is that that's not what happens.
Yeah.
But
Oh my goodness. That would be just detrimental to my happiness.
Yeah. Or dance studio, something.
Oh, stop it. Dude, there's so much like
that's still
wall
better.
space.
The dance studio is better though.
It's better than a law firm.
Well,
At least you're creating something and helping the youth.
Oh.
The youths. Yeah.
Utes.
Of the community.
Utes?
Utes.
Yeah.
These Utes.
Are you,
You don't know.
Too young for that.
oh, no, there's no way that's the right way
We
to
were
say
talking
that.
about Cobra Kai the other day. That's Daniel's son right there.
Ralph Macchio's in that too, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin Vinny.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. So maybe somebody might buy the spot if you'd fix the fucking urinal in the bathroom.
I don't care about the urinal.
What's going on? Why has the urinal never worked in Homegrown?
5 years.
So behind the urinal, there's a leak in the wall. And I was like, well, I can fix it or not worry about it at all because it's a single stall bathroom.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't worry about it.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's all it is. I just didn't worry about it.
Right. So you would have to cut the drywall out, fix the leak behind the wall, patch it back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, it's not that big of a deal. But I just never did it because I've had too many other things that I'm worried about. I mean, I'm being completely honest. I just don't care.
No,
We like the honesty.
That's fair enough. I've just always wondered why can't we fix the urinal?
It's like the last thing on my list of things that I care about. So.
And I mean, out of all the things that, DHEC comes in and all these people, inspectors come in and they say you need to have a railing that's so many inches from the toilet and this and the certain amount of lumens and the lights, you would think they would make it that you had to have a urinal.
Those things.
Yeah.
All of them. I know way more about like DHEC codes and building codes than I ever thought that I'd have to know.
Lumens, really?
It
Is
seems
that a
like-
thing?
Oh yeah, they come in with a light meter and they check the lumens.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to put a brighter light in there.
And it's funny
at
though
one
because
point.
if you like walk into my bathroom, it's like straight up to code. Like, and it's the brightest bathroom you'll probably ever walk into. You go to anybody else's restaurant bathroom, it's like, how did they pass? And it's like, they like changed the light bulb out whenever they came in. And just
like Gueuze's
back.
bathroom was super dim, I thought, before they burned down. Now it was bright when the fire was going.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, sorry, Mike.
Rest
But
in peace. Too soon.
we'll get a laugh out of that.
Too
It'd
soon.
be pretty funny. No, it's not too soon. And they broke ground finally.
Really?
They're starting to rebuild over there.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be pretty cool.
I just made
I think it's gonna be bigger and better.
People keep saying bigger though. I'm like, are they putting in a rooftop?
I saw that. I like that.
That's the thing too. Yeah, there's only so much space over there. But
Make America Great Again.
Make America great again.
I'm going to buy one of
it's
those
June
hats.
something, right? June's. I don't even know the date. But
I don't know. I just made the design.
did you?
Oh, yeah, I sent it to him a couple weeks ago.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's gonna be a good thing.
Trump uses 2 different fonts in that.
Yeah, I'm ready for them to reopen at some point. That's my favorite spot in town.
Yeah, we're trying to put an event together, and Mike's already agreed to support us and be out there and do some whatever he does, sliders, tacos, whatever he's doing right now to try and just maintain some momentum and recognition and
Heck yeah.
whatever. But
All about it.
we're ready for another beer?
No.
Yeah.
No?
I'm being way sarcastic. I've been ready.
I was about to say I might need
we have more
a
glasses.
new host.
Don't we?
What's that?
Do we have more glasses?
We can get more glasses if you
I
want.
just rinsed mine out.
I'm just going to do what Caleb did. I like that idea.
All right.
You gotta drink your beer water, man.
You get a little bit of water. I mean, that's what you do at a festival, right? You just rinse it out.
Hydrate.
Keep the same glass.
You think I rinse out my cup?
100 beers.
I just keep adding to it.
Well, after having this and knowing what that Gueuze tastes like, I mean, they're really similar in flavor profile. So.
Okay.
I mean, we've done that once before where we had a similar style beer. We just poured it in the same glass.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't either, but you know,
we literally have
this guy here with the
person I know right now.
the 2-finger thing.
Yeah, I'm according to Mike, I'm pretentious. So
different glassware, 2 fingers. I mean, we're talking to Mr. Beer over here.
No. But the thing is, though, is like, yes, I know that I'm over the edge and I can be pretentious, but there has to be people like me, I think,
Agreed.
to kind of draw the other people out from their.
I mean, like I said earlier, I didn't.
I'm doing something.
I don't think I would have got so into craft beer if you had just walked up and like.
Caught me in the eye with that.
That's what she said.
Why is this fucking thing not coming off there? Here. He does it all the time.
What are you doing? What did you do here?
I didn't do anything. I just unwrapped it, and usually it just comes right off, but it didn't. It didn't release.
Oh man, it's got 2.
Does it have 2 cages?
It has 2 cages on it. Wow, you got the special one.
Wow.
Can we do
Wow.
anything with this knife? Can we do anything with this knife right here? Be careful.
Oh yeah, Gordon wanted.
I got it.
Gordon wanted you to cut the wax off. I was like,
that's
Gordon.
why I specifically chose beers that did not have.
Gordon was like, make sure you get a beer with the wax on.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I've never seen a.
This is absolutely insane.
I've never seen a cage like that.
He's going to be so happy to find out that we still had problems.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, let's try and pry this bitch off.
Well, I need to break the wires. What I need to do first.
How? Were these machine put on or?
So for those of you,
for a company like this, they have some sort of machine.
For those of you not watching the video, just listening to the audio, we were having a hard time. It's kind of like a champagne style bottle. We're trying to get this cage off so we can pop the cork, and we turned it, and released it, loosened it up, and it's not coming off.
I'm just gonna break the wire unless you have some wire cutters here.
Downstairs we do.
Yeah, I'd have to go down to the garage, but I mean, we've got this nice knife supplied by Accent on Wine right here.
There we go.
I've got a Benchmade knife.
First one.
Plug that in here real quick.
So now that's off.
Feel free to send me any Benchmade knives. I will accept all of them. Benchmade.
What is?
I have no idea how they did this.
Right,
so you said
we had a
this level of brewing, it would be machine.
Yeah.
So Timmermans.
Timmermans.
Timmer.
They're out of Belgium.
I had a knife up here at one point.
Like that.
With some cutters.
I'll pry this part off. This is insane. I've never seen this before. Double caged. See, that's man. They completely had these things intertwined. It wasn't like they just put a cage on, put another cage on. Like the 2 cages were meshed together.
The machine or whatever messed up, probably, I guess.
Man. So
it's a special
we're
beer.
selling Homegrown. We talked about that. So Funky Firkenfest. When is that coming back? Is that coming back?
Woo!
Nice. We got it. Pour your own.
I think pour other people's first.
You're the guest. Pour your own beer. Oh, so anyway, I was going to have you read this actually too, Caleb, if you would please.
God, we're making him do all the work right now. That's ridiculous.
My eyes are so bad. I'd prefer, and he kind of knows this thing going on, this style. So we're doing something different. Let the guests read some shit. We did that.
I don't like reading.
Another day though.
Don't make this man read.
Right?
That's crazy. Do you want me to read something for you?
Yeah, read that. Read something.
You're killing me.
Read that shit right there.
What the fuck, man? It's a goddamn paragraph.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
So Gueuze?
Gueuze.
Oude Gueuze is an appellation contrôlée. What the fuck?
That pretty
That's
much.
why I gave it
It's
That pretty much means it's the same thing as champagne to to where you technically can only have champagne from the Champagne region of France. You
Okay.
can only have...
Also known as champagne of beers. I'm pretty sure that's Miller High Life, but okay.
This is the real champagne.
Real champagne of beers. I like that
Napoleon
better.
called the Berliner Weiss the champagne of the north.
Ooh.
Oh, I mean, I kind of like that too.
Yeah, so...
It says, Timmermans Oude Gueuze, special flavor derived from its time-honored method of preparation. It is a blend of old lambic, which has been aged for 3 years in wooden barrels, and young lambic, which ensures spontaneous fermentation in the bottle. The different lambics are carefully selected by the brewer to obtain a perfect flavor. After it has been produced, Timmermans Oude Gueuze, which is re-fermented for 4 months in the bottle, continues to improve for 20 years.
Yeah. And this is the 4-year-old bottle here.
Right, 2014.
And then there's a lot that talks about the discovering of Brettanomyces, which I don't need to get into because Caleb covered all of that.
Right. Awesome. You did a great job, Caleb. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Although you closed my website, but that's cool.
Yeah, I'm not used to touchscreens, so I touched the screen.
Smells
Well,
great.
that's what you do with touchscreens. So you're used to them.
Okay. I'm getting the last final shot here. Very fancy. Let's cheers. Cheers
Right.
to the real champagne of beers.
Well, and that, let's cheers to hopefully selling
Homegrown.
Homegrown Brewhouse.
And to new
And
adventures.
starting new adventures, yeah.
Heck yeah. It smells kind of danky.
Ooh,
Wow.
wow.
Brett.
Man. That's good.
Yeah.
Funky, tart,
Oh,
champagne, effervescence.
This is what I drink for New Year's every year.
Wow.
this is
That is really
amazing.
good. I mean, this is up there with the Rodenbach, the 2012 that, Gordon and I rated.
Wow.
This is up there.
Yeah, I'd say
At
so.
least equal and maybe even better.
This is amazing. Limited edition. How long have you had
Nice
this?
lemony. It's good, man. That's my last bottle that I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, we appreciate you sharing it.
Yeah, wow.
I think I've had a bottle of that every year for New Year's for like the past 3 or 4 years.
So
We
how are you
stole
gonna
your
get
New
more?
Year's bottle?
I can get more.
Where? Can you just order them?
Distributor.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the age will be on them, but
Do you know what
so
the
I mean,
age
like
on this one?
so this is 2014.
2014.
So part
Oh.
of that beer is 7 years old, or well, 7 years old.
That's good.
Super good.
It's oh.
I don't even see.
There's just something about tasting a beer that has been made for just forever.
Yeah.
You can taste the history in it. I don't know. We talked about that with Gordon as well.
Yeah, I mean, and you can tell the difference between these beers and like a Gueuze or Berliner Weiss, to where it's like that single note tartness, where this has so much complexity to it.
Yeah.
Because it's not just lactobacillus. You're mixing in pediococcus and acetobacter and different strands of Brettanomyces. And they all create like a different level of tartness or whatever flavor profile they're adding to the beer.
It's like making a freaking potion.
I mean, it's this is where I love beer for the sheer fact that it's science and art mixed together, because you can be just like a scientist and make beer. I mean, that's almost like the German way to make beer. And I'm not discrediting Germans at all, but they have their engineers, they're very strict on the way they do things. They don't change the recipe. This is how we make beer. And it's straight up science. This is it. And then you go to like Belgians, and the Belgians are almost like it's more art than anything else. It's like, this is like these. You're blending 3 different years of beer to get the flavor profile that you're looking. It's not a formula to where it's like, okay, this beer, and this beer we're going to blend together and we're going to bottle it and not ever taste it. It's like you have to taste it and understand what your ratios are going to be, and is this tank good enough for this beer that we're looking for. And you might you go a year and you're like, it's not quite right, And so it's science to make it get to that point, but to get it to the final step is art.
Yeah, it's a great explanation.
Very good.
It's kind of like Richard roasting with coffee.
Right.
I mean, you could sit down and I could follow instructions to the temperature, but you watch like a master do it, and like that tastes totally different than what I did.
Right.
I don't know what you like affecting gas and stuff. It's basically the same thing with just a different.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one with anything. I mean, you look at like chefs, like people like Mike. You know, it's okay. Yeah, there's a scientific way to make food, but there's also an art form to it to pull out different flavors, or maybe think of something in a way that nobody else has. Make a new recipe. So same with beer, making recipes, making judgment calls that maybe people before you might not have done. So.
Are you still making beer?
Yes-ish. I haven't homebrewed in a while, but I've brewed with breweries and made recipes for.
That's right. You do a lot of
stuff.
collaboration.
Yeah, that's kind of my outlet right now. So.
Which is great. I mean, you don't have to clean up any mess or anything. I mean, everybody else has to do it.
I like to bring a lot of people with me when I go to those things, and then it's like people who have never brewed before, and they're really excited to clean out the mash tun. And I'm like, you have fun cleaning that mash tun out. That's fantastic. I mean, I'll do it, but like I said, it's funny though, because like I said, I've taken like a group of people to go brew a frothy beer or something like that, and it's like people who've never done it before, and they're so excited, and it's like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll clean your kegs, and I'll clean out the mash tun and do all this stuff, and they're getting hot and sweaty, and I'm just over there with my beer, like, keep it up, guys.
Oh my gosh,
and they're excited.
Man, with all this homebrew talk, I should have chilled down one of my beers. We could have drank one of those too, but I'll give you one. Remind me to give you one to take home with you. My toasted coconut stout.
That's a shame, man, because you really want to have him on camera when he tastes it. So.
No, not really.
But what was his name? Tom Sawyer? He was the kid that tricked everyone into doing all his work.
Yeah, okay.
That's you.
Yeah, I'm Tom Sawyer. Take that as a compliment.
Yeah. And waiting for you to run away.
Work smarter, not harder.
Oh, that was Huckleberry Finn that ran away with the big black guy, right?
They were intertwined, so it was. I think Huckleberry Finn was one of them.
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna have to play Rush during this part of the episode. Write down the time. Tom Sawyer. Rush. Tom Sawyer.
I'm not playing Tom Sawyer. Although I do know that song.
Do you?
Rush was the first CD that I ever played in my first car.
Slapping the bass.
Yes. Slap the bass, man.
Yeah, good reference. I like it.
Yeah. It was a good album.
What was the name of that movie?
I Love You, Man.
Yeah. I Love You, Man. It's a great movie.
I'm a big Paul Rudd fan.
Oh, hell yeah. He's fantastic.
The Ant-Man movie is coming out. The second Ant-Man movie. Yes, it looks so good.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen the first one.
Really?
It's great.
It's probably one of the best out there.
Somebody I used to work with, she told me that I reminded her of Paul Rudd. Yeah. And I took it as like a huge compliment. I was like, oh, thanks. It was like I think it was my dry humor. And I was like, I take it as a compliment. I like Paul Rudd.
You're like, it's dry, but you're goofy and sarcastic. So it's not quite like you're an asshole, but you're just right on the edge.
Yeah. It's just, I'm nice enough to where if you know me, you don't take it so offensively. But if you don't know me, I've had people who don't get it.
Yeah, have you ever had like accidentally made a joke and like a customer took it the total wrong way?
I've offended tons of people, like not really realizing it. And
let's hear one of those stories. No? I think
there's too many.
Yeah, I don't know if I can go into that.
Oh man.
Well, I apparently offended one person one day with my IBU comment that I made. Because people all the time come in and they want to ask for they ask for hoppy beers, and I hate the term hoppy, because it doesn't really mean anything. It's like asking for a beer made with malt. It's like, okay, well, yeah, they're all made with malt. They're all made with hops. So hoppy, what does hoppy mean to you? And are you looking for something bitter? Are you looking for something aromatic? Or what kind of hops do you like? Because especially you can see with IPAs these days, you have New England IPAs, you have West Coast IPAs. So what is it that you like? Do you like bitter IPAs because that's different than a New England IPA.
Yeah.
Technically, New England IPAs have more hops in them than West Coast IPAs.
Right. They're just balanced.
Now, it takes a lot more hops to make a aromatic, flavorful beer IPA than it does to make just a bitter IPA.
Is that adding more hops later on?
Yeah.
Ah, I'm getting there.
Yeah, the flavor.
So, and then we talk about IBUs. I got people who be like, "Oh, what's the IBU on this beer? I want something that's got high in IBUs." And I'm like, "Well, what exactly you're looking for?" Because talking about like you looking at IBUs and stuff like that, it doesn't necessarily matter unless you know all the stats. Do you know what the original gravity of the beer was? Do you know what the final gravity of the beer is? Because it can be high in IBUs but not actually taste bitter depending on all the stats of the beer. Because if there's still more like residual sweetness left in the beer, residual sugars, it might have a higher IBU level, but it's not, the perceived bitterness is not going to be there. You'll have imperial stouts that have higher IBUs than IPAs, but the IPA is going to taste more bitter than the imperial stout. So
You had a great, I don't know if it was an analogy, I think, when you were texting me about it the other day.
I was probably talking about cars.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, because you can think about that. People are like, oh, how much horsepower does your car
Yes.
have? And it's like, well, okay, my car has 200 horsepower, but fantastic. Well, how heavy is your car? Is your car aerodynamic? What's the gear ratio? Like, there's a lot of things that go into play, and if you don't know all those things, you can make generalizations and be like, oh, it's got 300 horsepower, so it does this, but you can have a little, rice burner that's going to kill it. So,
Yeah.
and so it's the same thing with IBUs. It's like we can make generalizations about IBUs, but you don't know unless you know all the others, or just taste it.
Right.
And it's
Very good point.
So
I thought that was great.
Yeah.
It really cleared things up. I'm like,
and so
I just don't
and
care.
it's funny because it's one of those things that's like you guys look at Untapped. Untapped's not always necessarily it's not run by the brewer all the time. So you have
me, you, Caleb could put it in. Yeah.
And it's funny because like the guys at Frothy Beard, like I got onto Joey early on about it, and he started like kind of really taking over their Untapped stuff and putting the beers in themselves, making sure that all the stats were right before the customer does, because you can get a customer like me that I'm like, I want to know exactly what the ABV on it is. I want to know what the real name of the beer is. Like I want to know those things before I put it in there because I want the information to be correct. At Homegrown, my entire menu is run off of Untapped. Mm-hmm. I like for things to be correct. I like facts.
Sure.
But then you get some people that just they don't get it. It's like they misspell things. They don't put the alcohol by volume in there, and then once it's in there, it's in there. And once people start logging it, and if the brewery doesn't like really take over that that login and actually fix it, then you're stuck with a listing that's not correct.
It's fake news.
And every so often you got 2 or 3 different ones in there that you got to try and choose.
Exactly.
Okay, well, which one is this? Which one has the most check-ins is usually what most people go with, but which doesn't make it the correct one. But
yeah, I just kind of figured it'd be something you want to be on as a brewer.
And some breweries care. It was like the guys at Holy City are pretty good about it. The guys at Frothy Beard are good about it. I mean, there are breweries that care. You have people like Thomas Creek and Carolina Bauernhaus that are always kind of like keeping up with it and keeping up with their clients on it. And then you got other brewers that just don't care at all. And it's like, I can see your point to where you might not want to, on a personal level, you don't care about it. It's like the same way I feel about Instagram. I just don't care about Instagram. But there are people that do care about it. And so it's that point of like actually like focusing on it. And especially if you're in the beer world, I feel like, I mean, that is the number one beer app out there. And that is the best. That is what most beer enthusiasts are looking at first.
Right.
yeah.
And so if you want to represent yourself in a certain way and put like whatever your little spiel is about that beer on there, if you know, like that's the platform to kind of do it right now.
At least with Untapped, once you enter it, I mean, this is a negative as much as a positive to bring it back around. Once you enter it all in, you're done. You don't have to worry. Like it, your customers will handle the rest of all the check-ins and whatnot, which is nice.
And I can see people not liking it because I mean, they're like, you know, I don't rate beers on Untapped. I used to. I don't anymore, because for me personally, it's like when I'm rating a beer, It's like, first off, is this true style? Yes or no? Is it free of off flavors? Yes or no? Do I personally like it? Yes or no? And those are the things that go into play. But the most important thing is stylistically and off flavors. Is it clean? Is it two style? And then that's going to give it a certain rating. And then whether it's an exceptional beer is whether it's going to take it to the next level. And there are people, so it's like, I'll drink a Coors Light and be like, all right, 3.5. Because is it to style? Yeah. Do I like it? That's beside the point. I don't really like that style of beer, but to style, that's what the style tastes like. And you have people that do that all day long with IPAs. Like, I hate IPAs, 0.25, and it's like, stop rating IPAs if you don't like IPAs. And they're like, well, it's for me personally. Well, you already know you hate IPAs, so just don't rate it. If you. It's the Yelp of the beer world, to where you have everybody's got an opinion, everybody thinks their opinion matters, and it doesn't. I'm sorry. It doesn't.
You don't have to apologize. I think we all agree.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say nobody's opinion matters. I mean, when I go on there, I look at my friends list and I know which friends I trust with that information, and I'll go by certain friends to say, I think I'm going to like this beer. Yeah. Because I know that this person does a great job at the same thing, determining is it true to style,
right?
Which is what I kind of go with.
Actually, we picked the Birds Fly South Nights Like These based off of Gordon's.
Yeah, I trust Gordon's ratings.
Yeah,
I think we have similar tastes, similar styles, whatever. But
he did a good rating, so it was exactly true to what he expected.
But then there's other people that I know that do just like what you said. They don't like IPAs, so they're never going to rate an IPA very good.
And in my mind, it's like, just don't rate it.
Why would you go through the trouble?
And it's the same way. Like I said, it's that Yelp thing. It's like you walk into a Chinese restaurant, you're like, they didn't have pizza, 1 star, and it's like, what are you expecting? Like, just because it's not what you personally wanted it to be doesn't mean that it deserves that rating. Yeah. You walked into a Chinese restaurant. Is it a Chinese restaurant? Check. Okay. Is it clean? Check. Like, let's run through those things. So I have it all the time with people with Homegrown. It's like they'll walk in and they'll be like, well, he didn't have beer from California. It's like, well, that's not our style. That's not what we do. Yeah. So get over it. And it's like they'll walk in and be like, when I didn't have wine, it's like, no wine. So I'm like, well, what the freaking? And then we never said we're gonna. If I'd had a sign outside saying wine, and you walk inside, we don't have wine, I can understand you being mad about it.
Yeah, but it says brew house.
Yeah. They didn't have anything gluten free in there. No, we don't, because we love gluten.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's so good.
That's great. Yeah, that's good information. I like it.
Yeah, most definitely. So I guess Untapped should have more than one rating option to give you a total.
It would be nice if they had a personal rating system compared to, like, I want this brewery to know what I think. And it's like, but even then, I mean, it's so pretentious of us to think that our rating really matters. And it's like, well, I think it's like, well, who are you to rate this beer? Like, do you really know anything about beers? Probably not.
You're not a Cicero.
It really doesn't matter. Well, not even that, but it's like, how good is your flavor profile anyways to be able to actually do you understand beer styles? Like, somebody makes a malt beer. How much do you know about alt beers to properly rate that beer?
But it's still an average rating. Point. So I mean, I think it's an average of all those people.
Everything's 3.25 on Untapped, or 3.4. Yeah. Everything's at a 3.4 rating on there.
It's like, I don't really know if I should rate it
I was making a joke with, like, Justin Familari one day, and I was talking about, like, everything being 3.4, and so he was talking about his beers at Familari's Brew Pub, and I was like, does it have a 3.4 rating?
Yeah. Someone's going to need to make a beer, just call it 3.4.
Yeah. That'd be good. I'll make one.
Okay. Do it.
I got a Saison downstairs I'm ready to make. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Well, I really hope it's worthy of 3.4.
Oh, it's going to be 3.5 at least.
I don't want to have it then. It's too much.
I asked you a question earlier. We kind of skipped over it. while we were pouring this beer, I think.
I might have skipped over it on purpose.
No, it was just, it was Funky Firkenfest.
Oh, yeah, let's skip over that again.
I mean, we've done a couple of them. Is that ever coming back again? Is that something that's...
I don't foresee it happening this year. It's a lot of work to do that. And unfortunately, like, Summerville's not there yet.
Right.
This is our third year that we did it, and it hasn't grown. Our first year was actually our biggest year. And then, even though people were like, oh, I loved it, it was great, we loved the festival, it was fantastic, just can't get the support behind it.
Right.
And I had people complain about ticket prices first off, and it's like, man, I was charging, $55, I think, a ticket for it, for unlimited beer and sour beers, things you're not going to get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And, a beer festival just got released the other day. I think it's $80 a ticket for a festival.
The revelry one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's somewhere around there, $75, $80. And not knocking that, because it is a fair price for what you were getting. And so, unfortunately, people just don't get it. They don't get the fact that $55 is a really good deal for it. And it's a ton of work to put into an event that doesn't make any money. Like, we didn't make really any money at all over the past 3 years. Every year I thought I was going to lose money. And so it's just a lot of energy, a lot of work. And not that I don't love it, but for something that's kind of underappreciated, I just felt that talents and energy would be used better elsewhere.
Yeah. So
I'm actually trying to work on an event this year that, if I still haven't heard back from Mike Carcut, but I'm calling you out, Carcut. I want to do an event this year called Beer versus Wine. And my thought process was have Mike make a menu, whether it be a 4-course, 5-course meal, whatever it is. And he set that. That's totally up to him. And then I know Vinny from Accent on Wine's already on board, but Vinny would pick all the wines to pair with that, with the food, and I would pick the beer to pair with the food, and we would not release that until like the day of. And so it would be, you'd come in, you knew what the food was going to be, you didn't know what the wine or the beer was going to be, and with each course you would get a sample of wine, a sample of beer, and then and give people like the ability to maybe even like rate each one, like who wins that round, and just as for fun.
Right.
But I think it would be good because it would get wine people to come to it and beer people to come to it, and people that might not necessarily drink the other, like because people who only drink beer and don't drink wine, people that only drink wine don't drink beer, and kind of see that there is more to life than just one style of alcohol. And it'd be cool just to kind of to open people's eyes to the fact that that there's a lot to offer in the beer world and the wine world. So
very cool.
Great idea.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I would love.
Where would you do that? At the New Graves, maybe when it opens up?
Well, it all depends on what at that, because I want to do this for Charleston Beer Week, and so I highly doubt that they'd be. I don't know. If they'd be open by then
I don't think we're gonna be close. Yeah.
September.
I'm thinking.
How long does it take
November,
to build
December.
a building?
Well, he told me early on that it was gonna be 8 months, so at least 8 months. So
wow.
But either way, I mean, it would be we would be able to either do one of the 3 spots. So,
Right.
but I think it'd be a cool way to get all 3 of our businesses involved in something that could be different, something that nobody's done recently or done around.
I think that's great.
So
Right.
Count me in.
Well, I know Mike and I know Nick are, they're both subleasing the kitchen over there at Coastal Coffee Roasters. So it might be, if there was no other venue, use the warehouse space and do like an event there, use the kitchen.
Yeah.
I don't know, just throwing ideas out there, but
I see that. Yeah.
yeah, just trying to keep everybody involved, all the local people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought about doing it on Sunday at Homegrown. So since we're not open.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
But
If
need
but I mean,
be.
yeah, you might not even have the spot at that time. So who knows?
Ho, ho, ho.
So who knows? Yeah. Exactly. So there's a lot of things up in the air. But,
Yeah.
Maybe we have the spot.
Man, I wish.
show me the money.
Show me the money.
That's
Right.
the reason
I
we
got a
don't have
checkbook
the
over
spot.
here. Hold on, let me
Okay,
write a
fine.
check.
Cool. Do it.
Oh yeah, I will sit here and wait as well.
I will take it to the bank.
Good luck. Oh, man.
Out of the Craft Conversations pod bank account. Here's all the money.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Were you about to go somewhere else?
No.
No?
I mean, I can.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something else.
No. Funky Frickin' That's how we got on that whole thing.
Yeah, I can't believe you brought that back up.
It's a sore subject.
It is a sore subject. I brought that
Pretty
up.
cool logo.
I mean,
Funky
it was
Frickin'
pretty
Fest.
collaborative, I would say. Yeah, we pretty much worked together on the logo.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about that time, but going back and looking at all the logos and things that I made for people had like 18 like texture like dirt things on all of them. I'm like, you can't even see the logo. There's so many like grain and dots.
Everybody
on
loves
these
that.
things.
Everybody loves that. There is the rustic look.
Yeah, I'm glad
you
Family
gotta put
Laurie's
patina
didn't
on
use
there.
that anymore, and you stopped using it on the logos, and I like it so much better both ways. I'm like, thank God.
Well, it's nice to have just like a clean logo, and then if you want to add patina to it for whatever you're trying to do, you can. Because it's the thing, everybody wanted to print on shirts and make it look like it was like worn in.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's the thing.
Cracks me up when I see
Some
it.
people love my truck. They love
Dude,
the
I had
patina.
a guy come in.
I had the truck written down here. I was going to talk about the truck.
You talking
He's
about
like,
Herman?
who's the guy that drives the old truck? Caleb. Its name is Herman. He's like, it's an awesome truck. I'm like, yeah, it is.
It's fun. I like it.
Why would we name it Herman?
A few reasons. It looks like.
Well, first off,
looks like a Herman. to
What
me.
is the truck? I mean, the
It's
year, make, model.
1969 GMC 1500. It's
Herman.
like almost like that turquoise blue, like seafoam
Yeah.
green blue,
I like that. It's spot on.
with rust and whatnot on it. Patina. Everybody loves patina. It's got a straight 6 250. This is the second one in it. 'Cause
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I
that's
blew
not the
up
original,
the
yeah.
first one. Well, the guy who sold to me lied about a bunch of stuff, and I blew up the engine on the way home.
What?
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
When
yeah.
he first bought it, didn't even make it all the way back.
Oh, it was great because, man, it's like I called my friend. I was like, hey, man, what do you think about this truck? It's got a 250. He's like, oh, 250, it's a bulletproof engine. And everybody talking bulletproof. Yeah, it's bulletproof, but it will still throw a rod through the side of the motor. And so, yeah, it had a huge hole in the motor. Yeah, so I found a guy up in Myrtle Beach that had a 250 sitting in a storage unit out of a Camaro. Bought it for $50.
Wow.
What?
And then I rebuilt the whole thing. Quotes. I did everything except for pull the head and pistons out. So, but I redid the whole motor, the outside of it. Put it back in the truck. Transmission was busted. And it's got a TH400, which is a nice automatic transmission. So I had to get the transmission rebuilt on it. So it's got like basically a brand new transmission, almost new motor.
Still automatic?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's a good, like I
On
said,
the column.
good transmission. Yeah, three on the, or 3-speed, but on the column. But it's I don't know, it's a work mule. It's a low end, like got a lot of torque.
Is
But
that
I mean,
your?
it's dependent now. I mean, it's dependable.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really had any problems lately. I put a new radiator in it recently to take care of my coolant issues, and I'm about to put a new carburetor in it because the carburetor's. I broke some bolts on it whenever I was trying to adjust the fuel mixture, so it runs really rich. And it also is still a manual choke, so I got a carburetor coming in the mail. It's got an automatic choke on it.
Okay.
So that should take care of most
So
everything.
manual meaning you have to pull the choke out on the dash right there. every
Which
time.
doesn't really matter in the summertime, but in the wintertime, and I was like, oh, it doesn't really matter about the manual choke because we're in Charleston and
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
not cold.
And then we had like the coldest winter we've ever had,
Right.
and it's like every day trying to get it started up was a pain.
Yeah.
So, but just having the auto choke and that, and being able to actually adjust my fuel air mixture will be huge. And then I'll have to get exhaust on it because it has no exhaust right now.
Oh my god.
So it sounds like people like hear it at the traffic light. They go, "Oh, this guy's got a 350." I had a guy that said, "We got a V8 in that, right?" And I'm like, "Nope, straight 6."
It's a 4-cylinder.
And he's like, "Well, there's something wrong with your exhaust." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't have any."
Yeah. What's up with your catalytic converter, dude? That's no.
Yep.
I didn't make those back then.
Nope. So yeah, so I'm just
crickets on that one. Okay,
running down the checklist.
There you go. Man, at least you're going through the checklist.
Yeah, I mean, I took my kids to school the other day, and they're like, "Oh, we really love the smell." I'm like, "That's gasoline." Like, you love the smell of gasoline. Apparently, both my kids do.
Yeah.
So I don't.
I used to love it too, man.
Same.
At the gas station.
Like, it smells really good in here. I'm like, nah, not really, but okay.
That's the problem.
Yeah. So that's the richness you're talking about, right? With the carburetor mixture. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also has like on the carburetor there's a fuel leak, so it's spitting fuel out while it's pumping fuel in. Yeah.
You ever going to take?
It's great. I'm like, that's why I was like, I just need to get a new carburetor because this is getting the leak is getting worse, and that's why I couldn't fix it. So yeah, but I originally bought it as a truck to work on. I didn't realize I was immediately going to have to work on the motor and transmission, but
we never did get into the name. Herman.
Yeah, Herman.
Yeah.
It's funny. I always imagined Herman Munster from the Munsters to be.
I was wondering if that's where it came from.
Like, I always imagined it to be almost like that seafoam green color because, like, Frankenstein's monster people. It's got that green color in the cartoons, and it's a monster. I've had to replace the heart and the brain of it. And it's getting pieced together like Herman Munster would have been, since he's a comic depiction of Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
And I loved that show when I was a kid. So just Herman.
Heck yeah.
And it sounds American too, Herman.
That's cool.
It fits
I've
the
never
truck.
named any of my cars.
Really?
Well, and they're supposed to name your car after a girl. It's like always female names, and I'm like, no, this is Herman.
Yes.
Hermosa.
I didn't name my car after a female either.
Yeah, yours was
Perry.
Perry. That's right. Yeah. I've never named a car.
That's a shame.
And I've had 15 cars.
Yeah, I think this is the first car that I ever named. My first car was a 1970 Buick Skylark.
Wow.
I didn't even name that one.
Damn. Brian, your super down there has got a name. You just got to ask it what his name is.
It has no name.
Cars or
Right now
trucks
it's-
with character have names.
Right now, the name is because it won't start most times. But
It's been starting a lot since my car broke down.
well, that's true. I've been driving it a lot more lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's keep that good energy going.
No.
Are you ever going to put AC in Herman? Because I know there's no way it has it.
Well, yeah, I just rolled the windows down. Today was hot too.
Yeah,
man.
dude,
I
you
was like,
live in Summerville. It's way too hot for that.
There was like no breeze today. I'm sitting in line waiting to pick my kids up from school, and I'm just like, this is really, really hot right now. I don't. If the AC thing would be like one of the last things that I would ever do, because they have like conversion kits where you can add AC onto those trucks and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not the whole reason I got the truck. Is it's super simple, easy to work on. So it's kind of nice though, because being able to add things like that and work on what's there, I'm able to do almost all the work myself.
Yeah, that's
Like I
what
said, I didn't work on the transmission myself because don't want to deal with transmissions.
it sucks.
But
I fucking hate transmissions.
But everything, it's super simple. I'm probably going to get an oscillating so the cigarette lighter in the truck did not work, so I bought a new cigarette lighter the other day. Just haven't installed it yet. So I'm going to it's a power port actually, not a cigarette lighter. Well, I guess
Yeah, it's funny you mention that because most people are probably saying the cigarette lighter. What are you talking about? Cigarette lighter?
And
you're talking about the power, the power adapter?
And it did the power came with the cigarette lighter thing. But
do they not anymore?
No, you can't get. You don't get a cigarette lighter in cars anymore.
Yeah, that's an extra. You have to pay for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all power ports now. But yeah, so I got one. I knew one of those to put in, and I'm gonna probably get a fan.
There you go.
To plug into that, just
Perfect.
Because when there's a breeze, it's not a big deal. But when I'm driving down the road and got my vent windows open, it feels good. Got the little floor vents open too.
Yeah.
Oh, floor vents.
I got floor vents. I got vent windows and regular. I mean,
wow.
it's top of the line right there.
What the hell?
I think we GoPro'd.
That the GoPro just died. Literally, it just
Committed suicide. Just jumped out.
died.
I can't handle this anymore, guys.
Yeah, it's like
It's
So
still recording.
No, well,
That's good.
It should. It's a
We
GoPro.
need to keep that footage.
Oh, you say it
It
should.
fell out of the.
All right, we have 11 minutes left before this thing dies.
All right.
Where are we at right now? What
That's the
time?
first time that's happened.
150.
Well, you did have the back open on it. I mean,
That's because it picks up audio better when I'm syncing together the video. It's just easier for me to do that.
okay, just fine. Just observing things.
Yeah.
That's fine, man. That's what you're here for. So we have a question now. Do you want to... What's this? You want to wrap it up? The next few minutes? We're hitting 2 hours.
It's up to our guest.
Or we could take a break, replace everything on the GoPro, pause your camera, and then continue to record. Those are our options.
That's up to y'all. I don't know how much extra content you need from me.
We don't really need anything from you.
I don't know. I would always got written down in this little book over there.
I mean, that was really all I had written down. I had Summerville Underground, obviously, but that's about the last thing I had written down to kind of touch on. Got 11 minutes. So
Let's wrap it up then.
how did that come about? Summerville Underground.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Whoa.
It's underground. I get it.
No, it's just a bottle. It's a bottle share that I started just.
So that's all it was the bottle share.
Yeah, it was it was a mixture of that, but just trying to get people who actually like want to try different things and want to experience a little more of the craft beer industry to kind of get them connected and
I like it.
to be able to try different things they normally wouldn't try.
Especially with stuff that is pretty pricey.
Yeah, I mean we got a bunch of people that travel a lot and they bring, expensive bottles back, and they don't always want to drink 25 ounces of a 12% alcohol beer by themselves at home, so they like to share. And so when you got
It's a
10
great
people
crowd.
that can sit around and share with each other, it's kind of fun.
What do we need to do to rejuvenate that? Kind of spin it back up again. It seems like it's kind of lost its
I don't know,
gusto.
it's like what, 6 to 8 people that still show up?
If that there. I mean, we used to get
I
like
know.
14, 15, 16 people. I mean, what do we need to do? Is there something we can do to spur
Yes. Buy
participation?
homegrown.
I don't know. That's it, but
I'm not very, people get busy.
yeah,
So they know when it is. They know when we meet.
right.
So I don't
Which
really worry
is-
too much about it.
Yeah, when do you meet?
No, we can't
We gotta
put it out there. It's
all-
underground. It's
Oh,
underground.
that's right. It's a
Underground.
secret.
It's underground.
Oh, whatever. I'm new to this. I only know because I work there. I was not privy to this cool underground information before.
That's the only thing. Oh, I did have one other thing. Sorry. The 2-finger rule. Where's that come from? Is that your rule? Is that
Did you get to that part of
industry
the podcast?
standard rule?
He did not get to that
To the
part.
2-finger rule?
I have multiple rules. So
But it is a 2-finger rule, right? Like on
So-
the head.
it depends.
At least.
Yeah, it depends on the glass. So like we have.
I know that's why he's going to yell so bad when he listens to the episode.
So we do 12 ounce pours at Homegrown, and
Right.
so every glass has a different size. So most glassware comes in 16-ounce sizes. So when people order pints, a pint is literally 16 ounces, and
Right.
a pint glass, which is not really a pint glass, it's a shaker glass. You can put 16 ounces of liquid in it, but that's without a head at all. Like the liquid has to go all the way to the top.
Yeah.
But that's not appropriate because the head on the beer is important. The head on the beer is where aroma is held. So if you really want to be able to smell the beer, which is about a third of your taste buds, then you need to have a good head on the beer.
Wait a minute. What did you just say? If you want to be able to smell the beer, it's a third of your taste buds?
Yeah, so like
Smelling and tasting is the same?
aroma is like a third of your taste buds. If you have a cold and you eat stuff, it doesn't taste as good because you can't smell it.
Same
Okay.
thing with when you smoke and things taste better, it's because it enhances your sense of smell.
Yeah, people who quit smoking, it's like they taste things for the first time in their life because they actually are able to smell again. They're like, oh wow, this tastes really good. It's like, yeah, well, cigarettes were ruining your taste buds because it's ruining your aroma. And
Right.
So,
Okay.
aroma is huge. It is. It's a huge component of tasting things. Like, if you pinch your nose and drink something and then don't pinch your nose and smell
Right, people
it,
do that with shit that tastes bad, right? I mean,
Yeah,
pinch your nose
exactly.
and kind of suck it down. Yeah.
because it's just the way to do. I mean, and it's funny because you can smell a beer and a beer can smell bad and you're like, well, I mean, it tastes better than it smells. And it's,
Right. And you see it on Fear Factor all the time.
Yeah.
They hold their nose and chug down the maggot juice or whatever.
Yeah. Because, like I said, because it is. I mean, there's multiple steps to beer. It's like the first thing is the way a beer looks to you. If it looks good, it's probably going to taste better to you. If it smells good, it's going to taste better to you. And so for me, glassware is huge. Part of it for some beers, yeah, it's just that sex appeal. It makes it look tastier. Like if you had a glass that had mud caked all on the outside of it, nothing like if it wasn't on the lip, it was just on the outside and it looked nasty, it wouldn't taste as good because you're like, oh, that's disgusting. I don't really want to drink something from that nasty vessel. But
I agree.
But it's the same with anything. The first thing that draws your attention to like somebody of the opposite sex is the way they look. Before you ever hear their annoying voice, it's like I mean think about it. You see somebody, they attract you visually. Then you get closer, and it's like you smell a nice perfume, and it attracts you even more. And then you talk to them.
Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, and if they actually have, and it's like, oh, hey, I didn't see that Adam's apple before. But so there's multiple steps into it. So into becoming attracted to somebody, and so it's the same way with anything. It's like that's why plating is so important to chefs. You know, it's like if it's just a plate of food that's all mushed together, it might taste just as good as this other plate over there. But the other plate, if it looks really sexy, it's gonna in your mind, it's gonna taste better. It's like being on vacation. Everything tastes better on vacation.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So for beer, so it's like first thing it's visually, and then the head on the beer is important because that's where a lot of your aromas help. And so we like to have a good head on the beer.
Right. So you said it depends on the glass. So some glasses are 2 fingers, some are 3, some are 1.
Some are 4, yeah.
Some are 4?
Yeah. Well, like a half Weizen. So yeah. A half Weizen, you want a nice hard pour on there. It's gonna get a good head on. I mean, our half Weizen glasses are 22-ounce glasses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. You do.
The goblet is what, 20 ounce?
What are you doing?
Was it a schooner?
Yeah.
Because when it's so big, I want to hold it like this. That's what I was going like that.
Schooner.
A schooner.
Yeah, or it's a and Libby calls it a grand service glass. You can have a goblet.
Which is good.
It's almost like a Bordeaux glass, and so
the darker beers, right?
Yeah, so we put our dark beer. It holds in good malty aromas, and that's like a 20-ounce glass. So
that's great. It's so big.
Yeah.
I feel like a king when you order that. Like, ha.
Right, and then people see the head on it like this, and you're thinking, "Oh, I'm getting cheated, man."
Yeah. And I'm like, it's 12-ounce pour, and then when you put that glass is great because you can also like especially darker beers, you want them served warmer, so you can put your whole hand under it and warms up the beer.
That's what I was doing. Just warming up the testicles.
I saw what you were doing over there.
So that about wraps it up.
I think that is where we should wrap it.
We'll wrap it up with the balls.
Whatever. Screw you guys. Screw you guys.
Well, I think we've said it all.
I think so. Until next time, thank you, Caleb.
Jesus Christ, that's definitely.
See, I don't know what you got going on over there.
Thanks, Caleb.
The first time.
For finally coming into the studio.
Right. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you for the delicious beer. This Timmermans is going to stay with me forever.
Man, it was fantastic.
I'm going to go rate this on Untapped. I don't care what you say.
As long as it's a good rating, because it deserves it.
Oh,
I'm going to rate it right now. I got it up.
To you and to everyone else, we'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.